Every person you meet speaks without words, and the secret is in how you watch them. Understanding people is not about what they say, but about the little signs they cannot control. Real awareness begins when you notice the truth hidden in someone's tone, eyes, and movements. Most people think communication is only about talking, but the real power is in observing. The way someone shifts their eyes or moves their hands reveals more than their words. When you learn to pay attention to these signs, you unlock the truth behind their emotions. This skill makes you more confident in social situations. It helps you know who is being honest and who is holding back. It guides you in building stronger connections with others. Today we will discuss how to read people without them knowing and how to use this skill in everyday life. If you're ready to see the world with sharper eyes and deeper understanding, then let's dive in. Number 1. Observe microfacial expressions during casual conversations carefully. People often ask me, Jim, how do you know what someone really feels when they are not telling you the truth, or when they are hiding what they think? And I always say, the secret is not found in complicated tricks or theories. The secret is in paying attention to the smallest movements of the face. Microfacial expressions happen in less than a second. They flash across the face so quickly that most people miss them, yet they tell the real story. They reveal hidden feelings that words try to cover. You see, when we are around others, we all wear a social mask. We smile when we need to smile. We nod when we need to nod. We say the right words to fit in, but the face cannot lie for long. The muscles betray emotions before the mind can control them. This is why learning to observe these tiny expressions becomes one of the most powerful skills you can ever develop in your journey of understanding people. When you talk to someone in a casual conversation, pay attention to the flicker of an eyebrow, the sudden tightening around the mouth, or the rapid narrowing of the eyes. These are not accidents. They are not random twitches. They are signals from the emotional brain that leak out. A man may be telling you he is fine, but a split-second downward twitch of his lip may tell you he feels sadness. A woman may be saying she is happy for you, but her eyes may flash a micro-glare of envy before her smile settles. This is where you start seeing beyond words, and this is where your life begins to change, because now you understand what people are not saying. You understand what they feel but will not admit. I want you to understand this clearly. You do not need to confront people when you see these expressions. You do not need to call them out. The goal is not to embarrass them or to expose their secret feelings. The goal is to collect information. The goal is to see reality for what it is. The goal is to build awareness that helps you make better choices in every area of life. This awareness helps in business when you negotiate. It helps in relationships when you want to know how someone truly feels about you. It helps in leadership when you must inspire trust. It helps in every interaction where the truth is hidden beneath politeness. Now, one of the most important things to remember is that micro-expressions last less than half a second. That is why you must train your eyes to notice them. If you only look at the big gestures, you will miss the hidden truth. Think of the eyes. When someone feels fear, the eyelids open wider for just an instant. When someone feels anger, the brows pull down for a flash. When someone feels disgust, the upper lip curls for a moment. When someone feels contempt, only one corner of the mouth rises slightly. These flashes are the key. If you blink at the wrong time, you may miss them. That is why you must slow down and pay attention. Not with tension, but with calm presence. Let me give you a practical way to practice this. Sit with someone in a casual talk, and instead of rushing to respond, take a breath and look at their face when they speak. Not in a way that makes them uncomfortable, but with a natural calm. Notice how their expressions shift when the subject changes. Notice what appears for a fraction of a second before their main expression settles. At first, you will only catch one or two of these, but over time, as your awareness grows, you will start to catch many, and once you see them, you can never unsee them. It is like discovering a new language that was always spoken around you but never understood until now. What is powerful about micro-expressions is that they are universal. It does not matter if you are in New York, Tokyo, or a small village somewhere. The human face has the same signals. Anger looks the same in every culture. Surprise looks the same in every culture. Fear, sadness, disgust, happiness, contempt, they all look the same no matter where you are. This gives you an incredible advantage because it means once you learn to see them, you can read anyone anywhere. You do not need translation, you do not need a dictionary, you just need awareness and practice. But let me warn you about something important. Do not use this skill to judge people harshly. Remember, emotions are not crimes. Just because someone flashes envy does not mean they are a bad person. Just because someone shows contempt for a second does not mean they hate you. Emotions are natural human responses. We all feel them, we all hide them at times. What matters is not to label people, but to understand them. Understanding creates wisdom, and wisdom allows you to move with people in a smarter way. You can respond with empathy, or you can protect yourself from deception. You can guide a conversation with sensitivity. That is what real mastery looks like. Think about how this changes your interactions. Imagine you are in a meeting and someone is agreeing with you, but for a split second, their eyes narrow in anger. You now know they are resisting inside, even while nodding outside. You will not confront them, but you will know to prepare for hidden pushback later. Imagine you are on a date and someone smiles at your story, but their mouth shows a flash of contempt before settling. You now know their words may not match their real feelings. Imagine you are interviewing someone for a job, and they tell you they are excited, but their micro-expression reveals fear. Now you know the truth is more complex. This awareness is priceless. The power of observing micro-expressions also comes from your own growth. When you learn to see them in others, you also begin to notice them in yourself. You realize how often your own face betrays your feelings. You notice how your lips twitch when you hold back irritation. You see how your eyes widen when you feel nervous. This gives you self-awareness, and self-awareness is the beginning of personal power, because when you see your own leaks, you can manage them better. You can learn to regulate your own emotions. You can learn to be more authentic when needed, and more composed when required. I want you to start by practicing one simple habit. Whenever you are in a casual talk, choose one emotion to look for. Maybe today you focus on surprise. Watch for the quick raising of eyebrows, the widening of eyes, the dropping of the jaw. Maybe tomorrow you focus on disgust. Watch for the curling of the upper lip or the wrinkling of the nose. Practice one emotion at a time until you become fluent. This way you build your skills step by step, and before long you will notice them all without effort. Most people miss micro-expressions because they are too focused on what they will say next. They are too busy forming responses in their mind instead of paying attention. If you want to master this skill, you must reverse that habit. Give your full attention to the other person. Let them speak. Watch them closely. Forget for a moment about what you will say. Trust that the right words will come when it is your turn. Your main job is to see what is really happening. When you train yourself to listen with your eyes, your world will open in new ways. There is something fascinating about the human face. It is like a canvas that changes with every feeling. Yet, most people only see the surface smiles and polite nods. When you slow down, when you look deeper, You begin to see the truth under the surface. You begin to connect with people in a way most others cannot. You begin to sense their emotions, even when they deny them. You begin to guide conversations with wisdom. This makes you powerful, not because you control others, but because you understand them, and understanding is the greatest power you can hold in human interaction. This skill also changes your level of confidence. When you can see hidden feelings in others, you stop doubting yourself. You stop wondering what people really mean. You stop being blind to unspoken emotions. Instead, you carry yourself with calm assurance because you know you are not missing the signals. You know you see what others do not. This gives you a quiet confidence that makes people trust you. They feel that you understand them. They sense that you are present, and presence is one of the rarest qualities in the modern world. Think about the advantage this gives in everyday life. Imagine being in a negotiation where the other person says one thing but feels another. You can read the truth. Imagine being in a friendship where someone says they are fine but flashes sadness. You can offer support. Imagine being in a team where someone agrees but shows anger in a micro-flash. You can address the tension early. All of this gives you influence because influence comes from understanding. Influence is not about talking louder. Influence is about seeing deeper. When you master the art of observing micro-expressions, you will never again take words at face value. You will never again be fooled by polite smiles. You will never again wonder if someone really means what they say. You will see the truth in their face, and once you see it, you can respond with wisdom. That is how you build better relationships. That is how you protect yourself from manipulation. That is how you inspire others with genuine understanding. Now I want you to imagine the next time you sit across from someone in a casual conversation. Instead of rushing to share your own story, you take a breath and watch. You see the micro flicker of their mouth. You notice the brief flash of their eyes. You see the twitch that reveals what words will not admit. In that moment, you will realize you have entered a new level of awareness. You will realize you have gained an edge that very few people have, and you will realize that the power to understand others begins with your willingness to observe carefully. Number 2. Notice subtle shifts in posture when topics change. Most people go through conversations without paying attention to the body of the person in front of them. They hear words, but they do not notice what happens when the subject of the talk moves from one area to another. Yet the body reacts before the mind has time to polish the response. The shoulders may lift, the spine may straighten, or the torso may lean back. These movements are not accidents. They are signals that tell you how the person feels inside. You can learn more about someone's true emotions by watching their posture during topic changes than you can from listening to their words alone. This is what gives you an edge in human understanding. Think about how often you speak with a friend, a colleague, or even a stranger and see no obvious clues on their face. But then the topic shifts to money, family, work, or personal goals, and suddenly their body shifts in the chair. They may fold their arms without realizing it. They may lean forward in sudden interest. They may push themselves back as if to protect their space. These changes are often so quick that you may miss them if you are not trained to notice. But once you begin to see them, you cannot ignore them again. They reveal the hidden story. One of the clearest signs appears in the torso. When someone leans forward as the subject changes, it shows eagerness or curiosity. When someone pulls back slightly, it shows discomfort or distance. These are not gestures people plan. They are natural reactions of the body to how the mind feels. If you want to know where the real emotion lies, pay attention to these small shifts. They will tell you what the words try to cover. They will tell you what the person values or fears. They will tell you where the truth lives. Many people ask me, Jim, how do I practice this skill without making people feel observed? The answer is simple. You do not stare or overanalyze. You stay relaxed and present. You let the conversation flow naturally while your awareness picks up the changes in posture. When the topic moves, you watch how the person adjusts. Do they straighten up as if suddenly alert? Do they slump as if losing energy? Do they turn slightly away as if wanting to escape? Each shift has meaning, and the more you notice them, the clearer the picture becomes. This skill is especially valuable in casual talks because people are less guarded. In formal meetings, people often sit stiff and controlled, but in friendly conversations, the body is more honest. That is when you can see how someone really feels when different topics come up. Maybe the subject of health makes them sit up tall with concern. Maybe the subject of travel makes them lean forward with excitement. Maybe the subject of family makes them cross their arms with hidden tension. Every topic has an effect on posture, and every effect has a meaning if you are willing to observe. Let me give you a simple exercise. The next time you talk with someone, bring up 3 different subjects. Watch carefully how their posture changes with each one. You do not need to be obvious. Just notice the timing of the shifts. When does the person lean forward? When do they close their body by crossing arms or legs? When do they relax into the chair? These are the cues that reveal their feelings more clearly than words. Write them down afterward and reflect. Over time, this habit will sharpen your awareness. Another important area is the position of the shoulders. Shoulders reveal stress and interest more than most people realize. When someone feels defensive or worried, their shoulders often rise or stiffen. When someone feels open and comfortable, their shoulders relax and drop. When the topic changes, notice how quickly the shoulders respond. The reaction often comes before the words. That is the moment you must capture. That is the truth breaking through the surface. Do not forget about the legs and feet either. Even when the upper body looks controlled, the lower body often leaks signals. When a subject makes someone uneasy, they may pull their legs inward or cross them quickly. When a subject excites them, they may stretch their legs outward or point their feet toward you. These shifts in posture happen fast and without thought. They are powerful clues that reveal how a person feels deep down. Many people ignore them because they are busy looking only at the face. But if you train yourself to see the entire body, you will discover the whole truth. You must also be careful not to jump to conclusions too quickly. A single shift in posture does not tell the full story. You must look for patterns. If every time money comes up the person leans back and crosses arms, then you can trust the signal. If every time the topic of future plans comes up the person leans in and opens their body, then you can trust that signal too. Patterns build reliability. The more you notice them, the more accurate your reading becomes. One of the strongest uses of this skill is in leadership and influence. When you speak to a group, you can tell when a subject connects with people by the way their posture changes. If they lean in, you know they are engaged. If they lean back, you know you are losing them. If their shoulders tighten, you know you touched a nerve. This feedback is priceless because it tells you how to guide the conversation. You can adjust in real time based on what the body language is telling you. Words may lie, but posture rarely does. Think about how this helps in relationships too. Imagine you are talking with a partner about future goals. If they lean forward with interest, you know they are engaged. If they shift back when the subject of commitment comes up, you know they are hesitant. If their posture tightens when you speak of money, you know there is tension. This awareness gives you power not to judge, but to understand. With understanding, you can ask better questions and create deeper trust. Business negotiations are another area where this becomes valuable. People may smile and speak politely, but their posture will give them away. If they lean back every time a certain term is mentioned, you know it is a point of resistance. If they lean forward when you present a new idea, you know you have captured their interest. If their arms stay crossed during one section of the talk, you know they are holding back. This information gives you an edge because you can adjust your approach based on what you see, not just what you hear. One of the most interesting things about posture is how it reveals hidden confidence. When someone feels sure about a topic, they sit upright with open shoulders. When someone feels insecure, they close their body and shrink slightly. Watch what happens when the subject changes. Does their body expand or contract? Do they open or close? Do they lean toward or away? These are the silent answers to the questions that words cannot answer. Let us go deeper into everyday situations. You might be in a family conversation where everyone seems calm. Then the topic shifts to responsibilities, and one member suddenly slumps in the chair. That slump is not random. It reveals defeat or reluctance. Another person may suddenly sit taller when the subject shifts to career. That rise in posture shows pride and enthusiasm. Another may cross their arms and legs tightly when the talk turns to personal choices. That closing posture shows defense. None of these are accidents. All of them are signals. Now you may ask, how do I use this knowledge without making people feel uncomfortable? The answer is to use it with wisdom. You do not need to point out their posture. You do not need to reveal that you noticed. You simply adjust your response. If someone closes their posture, you soften your approach. If someone opens their posture, you lean into the subject with them. If someone pulls back, you give them space. You use your awareness to guide the conversation with sensitivity. That is the mark of real understanding. The truth is that people want to be understood, but they do not always want to reveal themselves directly. By noticing subtle shifts in posture, you understand them without forcing them to explain. This creates a deep sense of connection. They feel safe because you respond to their hidden feelings. You do not pressure them. You simply move with their energy. This is what makes you someone others trust, because you see what others miss. Think about the long-term benefits of mastering this. You will not only understand others better, but you will also become more aware of yourself. You will notice your own posture changes when certain subjects come up. You will see how you lean back when you feel uneasy. You will see how you cross your arms when you want to protect yourself. You will see how you lean in when you feel inspired. This awareness gives you control over your own presence. It helps you project confidence even when you feel uncertain. It helps you open your body to build trust. The more you practice this, the more natural it becomes. At first you must remind yourself to look at posture when the subject shifts, but soon it becomes automatic. You hear the words, but you also see the movements. You register the meaning instantly. This gives you a new level of understanding in every interaction. You stop being blind to hidden emotions. You start seeing the truth in every moment. And that truth is what gives you influence, trust, and power. So I encourage you, the next time you are in a conversation, watch carefully when the topic changes. Do not only listen to what is said. Watch how the body responds. Notice the shifts in posture. See the leaning forward, the leaning back, the opening, the closing, the tightening, the relaxing. These are the signals that reveal the hidden story. And once you learn to notice them, you will never again be fooled by words alone. You will see beyond the surface. You will see the truth. Number 3. Pay attention to blinking rate during stressful questions. Have you ever noticed how people change when a difficult question is asked? They may keep their face calm and their voice steady, but their eyes begin to reveal the truth. The rate at which a person blinks is one of the clearest signs of hidden stress. Most people blink at a steady and natural rhythm when they feel relaxed. But when pressure rises, the blinking either speeds up or slows down in ways that cannot be controlled easily. This shift is not random. It is a direct signal from the nervous system showing how the body responds to tension. You do not need special tools to see it. You only need awareness and patience. Imagine sitting across from someone during a casual conversation. The moment you bring up a topic that touches a sensitive area, you notice their blinking becomes more rapid. This is the body's way of releasing stress. The brain is under pressure, and the nervous system tries to regulate itself by moving the eyelids faster. On the other hand, some people freeze under stress, and their blinking slows almost to nothing. The eyes stay open longer, and the stillness creates a mask that feels unnatural. Both patterns are meaningful. Both patterns reveal what words are trying to hide. This is powerful because many people rely on words alone to measure honesty. Yet words can be chosen carefully, while the body leaks the truth in small signs. By paying attention to blinking, you can see where the mind is under pressure. You can sense the weight of a question, even when the answer sounds casual. This ability gives you an edge in every human interaction, because it allows you to see tension without needing anyone to admit it. That insight can change the way you lead, negotiate, and connect with others. Let us take a real example. You ask someone how they feel about a deadline at work. They say everything is fine, but as they respond, their blinking rate increases sharply. That is not a sign of comfort. That is a sign of inner stress. Another example might be when you ask a friend about money. They smile and give a short reply, but you notice their blinking nearly stops, as if they are frozen. That is the body's way of holding back emotion. Both cases tell you the truth behind the words. The body says what the mouth will not. One reason blinking is such a reliable clue is that it cannot be rehearsed. People can practice smiles or plan their words, but they cannot control the nervous system with ease. Stress shows up in the eyes without permission. This makes blinking one of the most honest signals you can watch for. Once you train your eye to see the rhythm, you can notice the shift in an instant. It may last only for a few seconds, but those seconds reveal what lies beneath the surface. To practice this skill, start by noticing people's normal blink rate when they are relaxed. You will see a pattern that feels steady and natural. Then, when a stressful subject is introduced, watch closely for any change. Does the rate increase rapidly as though the eyes cannot rest? Does it slow to the point where the person seems to stare without pause? These are the cues you must capture. They are small, but they carry meaning far greater than the words alone. This skill becomes especially useful in high-pressure settings. In a job interview, when the candidate is asked about weaknesses, the blinking may spike even if the answer sounds polished. In a negotiation, when the other side hears a number they dislike, their blinking may slow as they try to hide reaction. In personal talks, when sensitive topics like trust or loyalty are raised, blinking often betrays the real state of mind. If you learn to see it, you can guide the talk with more wisdom. One important detail is that not every increase in blinking means stress. Sometimes people blink faster due to dry eyes or lighting. That is why you must pay attention to timing. The key is to notice when blinking shifts exactly after a stressful question. If the change comes right at the moment of tension, you can trust it is emotional rather than physical. Context always matters. That is how you avoid mistakes in reading others. You look not only at the signal, but also at the situation. What makes this skill powerful is how quietly you can use it. You do not need to mention that you noticed. You do not need to confront anyone. You simply store the information. If you see rapid blinking, you know there is pressure. If you see frozen blinking, you know there is suppression. You carry this knowledge in your mind and let it guide your choices. This way, you protect yourself, build deeper awareness and adjust your response without making anyone defensive. In relationships, this can be life-changing. Suppose you ask your partner how they feel about a decision. They say they agree, but their blinking grows sharp and frequent. You now know there is hidden concern. Instead of taking their words at face value, you give them space to express what they are holding back. You ask better questions. You open the door for honesty. That creates trust, because they feel understood even without saying much. This is the kind of awareness that builds strong connections. Leadership also benefits from this skill. When you ask a team member about workload and their blinking spikes, you know the real truth behind their polite answer. Instead of pushing forward blindly, you can address the pressure directly. You can adjust your approach before problems grow. This makes you a leader who sees more than others, and that ability separates you from the crowd. People will respect you because they feel you sense their reality. That kind of presence inspires loyalty. This skill is not about judgment. It is not about catching people in lies. It is about understanding the human experience in real time. Stress is a natural part of life, and everyone tries to manage it differently. By seeing the blinking signals, you gain a clearer picture of what someone is going through. You gain empathy and clarity. You can guide conversations toward resolution instead of conflict. You can offer support where it is needed. That is the real power of human observation. Practice makes the difference here. The more you pay attention, the sharper your eye becomes. At first, you may notice changes only in obvious situations, but soon you will pick up subtler shifts. You will see how even a slight delay in blinking signals discomfort. You will see how a sudden burst of rapid blinks shows stress. You will catch patterns that most people never notice. Over time, this awareness will become second nature. You will hear words, but also see what lies beneath them. Think about how this changes your confidence. You no longer need to wonder if people are hiding stress. You do not need to guess. You can see it for yourself. That clarity removes doubt from your mind. It gives you assurance in decisions and interactions. It lets you move with calm certainty while others are blind. That is what sets you apart. That is what gives you influence in every setting, because people sense that you understand them beyond surface talk. Now imagine yourself in your next conversation. You ask a difficult question. You keep your calm and listen. At the same time, you notice the eyes of the other person. You see their blinking shift. In that moment, you know more than they intend to share. You hold the key to understanding their true state. That key gives you the power to respond with wisdom. That is how you step into the deeper level of reading people without them knowing. It all begins with the eyes, and it all begins with the blink. Number 4. Watch for lip biting when someone hides nervousness. Most people know what it feels like to sit in a conversation and suddenly feel nervous. The heart begins to beat faster, the mind races, and the body tries to find a way to cope. One of the most common ways people deal with this hidden pressure is by biting or pressing their lips together. It is such a small act that most people never notice it in others, yet it carries powerful meaning. Lip biting often happens when someone wants to hold back words, suppress emotions, or mask anxiety. The mouth is where truth often tries to cape, and biting the lips is a way of locking the door. When you train yourself to see this signal, you begin to understand what someone is really feeling in that moment. Think about how many times you have seen a person in a group setting suddenly bite their lower lip when asked a direct question. They may quickly release it and smile, but the message has already been sent. That small gesture often means they are nervous about their answer or uncomfortable with the subject. Another person may press their lips tightly together, as though sealing them shut. This usually shows they are holding something back or trying to control an emotion they do not want others to see. These small actions happen without planning. They are automatic responses of the body to inner stress. The reason lip biting is so revealing is because it is tied to self-control. When people feel nervous or insecure, they often seek comfort by biting or pressing their lips. It gives a sense of control in a moment of uncertainty. The problem for them is that it also reveals their hidden state to anyone observant enough to notice. You will see this most clearly in situations where people feel judged. In interviews, presentations, or sensitive talks, the lips often betray what the person is struggling to hide. If you watch carefully, you will see these signals appear and disappear in a split second. To make this practical, picture yourself asking a colleague if they completed an important task. They answer with a simple yes, but before the words come out, they bite their lower lip. That signal tells you their confidence is shaky. It may not mean they are lying, but it does mean they feel nervous about the truth of their answer. Or imagine asking a friend about their feelings in a relationship. They smile and say everything is fine, yet their lips press together tightly for a second. That press is the body trying to block the release of what they really feel. This gives you insight that words cannot provide. There are different types of lip biting, and each carries its own meaning. A gentle bite on the lower lip often shows nervous energy. It may even show attraction in certain contexts, but most often it reveals hidden tension. A strong bite or press with the lips tightly sealed suggests someone is holding back a stronger emotion, such as anger or sadness. Some people roll their lips inward until they almost disappear. This is a clear sign of trying to restrain themselves from saying something. Each version is unique, but they all connect back to the same theme of hidden nervousness or suppressed expression. It is important to separate nervous lip biting from habitual actions. Some people bite their lips out of habit or dryness, and in those cases it does not carry meaning. The key is timing. When lip biting happens directly after a stressful question or during a tense topic, it almost always reveals inner discomfort. Timing is the strongest indicator of what the signal really means. By connecting the gesture to the moment, you gain clarity about the person's state of mind. This skill is useful in business because it allows you to sense hesitation even when someone gives a positive answer. If you propose an idea in a meeting and notice someone biting their lip before agreeing, you know they are not fully convinced. Instead of taking their agreement at face value, you prepare for hidden resistance later. In negotiations, if someone bites their lip when a price is mentioned, you know that number hit a sensitive spot. This awareness allows you to adjust your strategy wisely. Relationships also benefit from noticing this subtle sign. Many people avoid conflict by saying what they think others want to hear, yet their lips betray the truth. If you notice your partner biting their lip when saying they are fine, you know something is being held back. This gives you the chance to ask with more care, to invite honesty instead of ignoring the sign. By responding to what is really happening, you build trust and deeper connection. That is the power of this awareness. The human mouth is a doorway for truth. It carries words, but it also reveals emotions before words arrive. Lip biting is one of those moments when the body shows the truth despite the effort to hide it. Most people never see it because they focus only on the face as a whole. But when you narrow your attention to the lips during stressful questions, you will notice signals that others miss. This is what sets you apart in conversations. It gives you insight that most people overlook. Now let us talk about self-awareness. Just as you notice this in others, you will begin to notice it in yourself. You may realize how often you bite your lip when nervous, even if you were unaware of it before. This self-discovery is powerful because it allows you to manage your own signals. If you do not want others to sense your nervousness, you can learn to calm your lips instead of biting them. Awareness of your own body language is the first step towards stronger presence. By mastering yourself, you gain control over how others perceive you. The more you practice, the better you become at seeing these signals. At first, you may only notice lip biting in clear moments of stress, but over time, you will catch smaller and quicker versions. You will see the lips tighten for a split second. Before a denial, you will see them roll inward when someone hides irritation. You will see them press shut when someone wants to stop the truth from escaping. Each time you see it, you will know more about the real emotion in the room. This skill does not mean you should call people out. The goal is not to embarrass or expose. The goal is to gather understanding. When you notice lip biting, you adjust your approach. You listen deeper. You create space for the other person. You use the knowledge to guide the talk toward clarity instead of conflict. That is how you turn observation into influence. You do not force people to reveal what they hide. You give them the safety to share what they truly feel when they are ready. Leadership becomes stronger with this awareness. When you ask a team member about progress and see them bite their lip, you know there is a challenge behind their words. Instead of moving on, you dig deeper with care. This prevents problems from being buried. It shows the team that you see what is real, not just what is presented. People respect leaders who can sense the truth. They trust leaders who respond to what is unspoken. That trust builds loyalty and performance. Confidence grows in you when you develop this skill. You no longer feel blind in conversations. You do not need to guess if someone is hiding nervousness. You can see it with your own eyes. That clarity gives you calm assurance. It allows you to act with certainty while others are still wondering. This quiet confidence makes you powerful in every room you enter. People sense that you see more than most. They feel understood, and that feeling makes them open to your influence. Imagine your next conversation. Someone says they are fine, but you notice the quick bite of their lip. You hold that knowledge in your mind. You know they are nervous. You know there is more beneath the surface. You do not press them harshly. You guide the talk with wisdom. You give them space to reveal the truth. This is how you build stronger relationships and make smarter decisions. It all begins with watching for lip biting, the small signal that reveals hidden nervousness. Number 5. Detect foot tapping as a sign of hidden anxiety. Most people know the feeling of sitting in a room while nervous thoughts build up inside. The face may look calm, the voice may sound steady, but the body cannot stay still. One of the clearest signs of this hidden tension is foot tapping. It shows up quietly under the table, beside the chair, or in the rhythm of a restless leg. Many people never notice it in others because they are too focused on words or facial expressions. Yet the feet reveal what the mind tries to hide. The tapping is a release of nervous energy, a way for the body to cope with stress it cannot express openly. If you pay attention, you will see it in everyday situations where people feel uneasy or pressured. Think about the last time you sat across from someone during an interview, a meeting, or even a casual talk. Their face may have been composed. Their smile may have looked genuine, but if you looked lower, you may have seen a foot moving non-stop. That movement was not random. It was the body's way of signaling discomfort. The person may have been anxious about being judged. They may have been nervous about the topic. They may have been uncertain about what to say. Whatever the cause, the feet gave them away. When you learn to notice this, you open a new window into the emotional state of people around you. The reason foot tapping is so powerful is because most people do not think about controlling their feet. They focus on the face, the voice, and the hands, because those are the areas most visible, but the lower body is often ignored, and that makes it the most honest. The tapping or bouncing of the feet is almost always unconscious. It is a release valve for nervous energy. It comes without planning and without thought. That is why it is such a reliable signal. Once you train yourself to notice it, you will see it everywhere. You will often see foot tapping in situations where patience is required, but anxiety is strong. For example, in a waiting room before an exam or an interview, you will see people tapping or bouncing their feet. In a meeting when a sensitive subject is raised, you may notice someone's foot moving quickly under the table. In personal conversations, when someone feels pressured or exposed, the tapping often begins. These are all signals that the person is dealing with inner stress. The words may sound calm, but the body says otherwise. There are different patterns of foot tapping, and each tells a different story. Rapid tapping with short movements often shows heightened nervousness or impatience. A strong bouncing of the leg shows the body is overloaded with energy it cannot contain. A slow and steady tap may indicate frustration or suppressed irritation. Sometimes the tapping stops suddenly when the topic shifts, which means the stress has been released or replaced by another feeling. These patterns give you detailed insight into the state of mind of the person you are observing. The context is important. Not all tapping means anxiety. Some people have habits of moving their feet even when relaxed. That is why you must watch for changes in behavior. If a person was sitting still but suddenly begins tapping when a certain question is asked, you know it is tied to the moment. If the tapping starts as soon as a stressful topic comes up, you know it is emotional rather than habitual. Timing is the key. It tells you whether the movement is a natural habit or a real signal of hidden stress. Imagine you are negotiating a deal. The other person says they agree, but as the terms are discussed, their foot begins to tap under the table. That movement tells you they are uneasy. They may not be ready to accept even if their words say yes. Imagine asking a friend about a sensitive issue. They assure you everything is fine, but their leg bounces continuously. That movement tells you their mind is restless. They are struggling to manage their emotions. These signals allow you to respond with more wisdom than if you relied on words alone. This skill helps you in leadership as well. When you speak to a team and see foot tapping in the group, you know where the stress lies. It may be linked to deadlines, expectations, or unclear instructions. By noticing it, you can adjust your approach and ease the tension. People will feel that you understand them beyond what they admit. That creates a bond of trust. They see you as someone who pays attention to the whole person, not just the words they speak. In relationships, foot tapping can be a powerful clue to hidden emotions. If your partner says they are calm but their foot taps under the table, you know something is being held back. This awareness gives you the chance to explore with kindness instead of ignoring the signal. It helps you avoid misunderstandings that grow when emotions remain hidden. By noticing the tapping and responding with care, you show that you truly pay attention. That creates safety and deeper connection. Self-awareness also grows when you learn this skill. You will begin to notice your own foot tapping when you are nervous. You may realize how often you use your feet to release tension without thinking. This discovery allows you to manage your signals better. If you want to appear more confident, you can train yourself to calm your feet. This control strengthens your presence. It helps you project calm even when you feel nervous inside. That kind of awareness gives you an edge in every situation. Practicing this skill is simple. The next time you sit in a meeting or a casual talk, Shift your focus from the face to the lower body. Watch for tapping, bouncing, or shifting of the feet. Do not stare, obviously. Just let your awareness expand. Notice when the movement begins and what topic triggered it. Notice when it stops and what caused the change. Keep a mental record. Over time, you will see clear patterns. You will learn to read anxiety even when people try to hide it. The value of this awareness is not in judging others. It is in understanding them. Everyone feels nervous at times. Everyone has moments when they hide their emotions. By noticing foot tapping, you can sense their struggle without making them explain. You can guide the conversation with empathy. You can protect yourself from false impressions. You can build trust by responding to the truth rather than the mask. This is what makes the skill so powerful. When you combine this awareness with other signals, such as posture or facial expressions, your ability to read people multiplies. You start to see the complete picture. You no longer rely on words alone. You see the nervous system at work through the body. This deeper vision gives you confidence in every interaction. You are no longer guessing about how people feel. You are seeing it with your own eyes. That certainty is what sets you apart in human connection. Picture yourself in your next conversation. Someone tells you they are not nervous, but under the table their foot is tapping quickly. You notice it. You know the truth. You do not call it out. You simply adjust your response. You slow your pace. You ease the pressure. You allow space for honesty. That person will feel safe with you, even if they cannot explain why. The reason is simple. You saw what others missed. You responded to the reality, not just the words. And that is how influence is built. Number 6. Catch crossed arms as a subconscious defensive response. Most people have been in conversations where the other person seems polite but distant. The words may sound agreeable, yet something feels off. One of the clearest signals that someone is holding back or protecting themselves is when they cross their arms. This gesture happens so often that many people dismiss it as simple comfort, but the truth is that crossed arms usually carry meaning. It is the body's way of creating a barrier between the self and the outside world. It is not always negative, but it almost always signals defense, hesitation, or discomfort. When you train yourself to notice this subtle cue, you start seeing what others miss. Imagine you are sharing an idea in a meeting. At first, everyone sits casually, but the moment you mention a sensitive topic, one person crosses their arms tightly across their chest. They may keep their face neutral, but their body has already spoken. That barrier tells you they are not fully open to the idea. They may feel threatened, skeptical, or resistant. Another example is in personal conversations. If you are discussing an emotional subject and the other person suddenly crosses their arms, it usually means they are protecting themselves from vulnerability. They may not be ready to share openly. That gesture is their shield. When you see crossed arms, the key is not to confront the person directly. If you point it out, they may feel embarrassed or defensive. Instead, you hold the knowledge quietly and adjust your approach. You may soften your tone, ask open questions, or change the direction of the talk. The goal is not to expose them, but to understand them better. When people feel understood without being pressured, they are more likely to lower their defenses naturally. That is when real connection can happen. It is important to understand that arms crossed alone does not always equal negativity. Some people fold their arms out of habit or even for warmth. This is why context is key. You must notice when the arms cross. If the person was sitting with open posture but suddenly folds their arms the moment a sensitive subject is raised, the meaning is clear. If their voice says they agree but their body creates a barrier, you know their true feelings are not aligned with their words. Timing and context make the difference between habit and hidden emotion. There are also variations in how people cross their arms. A tight and rigid crossing with hands tucked in shows stronger defense. A looser crossing with hands visible may simply show mild discomfort or insecurity. Sometimes people hold one arm across the body while keeping the other free. This often signals partial defense, as if they want to protect themselves but also stay engaged. Each version gives you a clue about the depth of the emotion. By studying these differences, you gain more precise understanding. In relationships, crossed arms can reveal emotional distance even when words say otherwise. If your partner says they are fine but sits with arms folded, you know there is more beneath the surface. You do not need to accuse them. Instead, you can ask with gentleness or give space for them to open up. This prevents misunderstandings from growing. It allows you to deal with the real feelings instead of being misled by polite answers. This awareness creates deeper bonds because it shows true attentiveness. Business negotiations are another area where this sign is crucial. If the other party crosses their arms when you present terms, you know there is resistance. They may say they will consider it, but their body already showed reluctance. This tells you not to rush, but to address the barrier first. If you ignore the signal, you risk losing the deal. But if you respond wisely, you increase your chances of success. This is the kind of advantage that comes from reading people beyond their words. This skill is valuable in leadership. A leader who notices crossed arms in a team discussion knows where resistance lies. Instead of pushing harder, the leader can invite input or address concerns. This shows the team that their feelings are recognized. It prevents hidden frustration from building. It creates an environment of trust because people feel that the leader sees beyond words. Leaders who master this awareness become more effective in guiding others. Self-awareness plays a role here too. You may begin to notice how often you cross your own arms when you feel nervous, defensive, or cold. This discovery allows you to manage your signals. If you want to appear open and confident, you can train yourself to keep your posture open. This small change can transform how others perceive you. People respond differently to someone with open arms than to someone who blocks themselves off. By mastering your own body language, you influence how others connect with you. One mistake many people make is to assume that crossed arms always mean anger. The truth is more nuanced. Sometimes it signals insecurity or shyness. Other times it signals stress. The key is to combine it with other signals. If the face is tense, the gesture likely means resistance. If the shoulders are hunched, it may mean insecurity. If the feet point away while the arms are crossed, it may mean desire to exit. Each combination gives you a clearer picture. Observation is about patterns, not single gestures. The more you practice noticing crossed arms, the more skilled you become at sensing hidden emotions. At first, you may only notice it in obvious situations, but over time, you will see the subtle changes. You will notice when someone gradually shifts into a crossed arm posture as the topic grows uncomfortable. You will notice when they uncross their arms after being reassured. These small details tell you exactly how the emotional state is shifting moment by moment. That insight is priceless. Think about the next time you enter a room. Instead of focusing only on faces, look at the arms. Are they open or closed? Do they shift during the conversation? Do they create a barrier at certain points? These are the clues that reveal hidden truth. Once you train your eye to see them, you will no longer miss the signs. You will see beyond the surface, and that awareness will make you wiser in every interaction. Crossed arms may seem simple, but they carry deep meaning. They tell you when someone is protecting themselves, when they are resisting, or when they are unsure. By noticing them, you gain access to feelings that words may never reveal. You can respond with wisdom, adjust your approach, and create stronger connections. That is the power of catching crossed arms as a subconscious defensive response. Number 8. Listen for voice pitch changes revealing inner emotions. Every one of us has been in moments where someone said all the right words, but something about the way they said it made us doubt them. You could not explain it in detail, but you felt the difference. That difference often comes from the pitch of the voice. Voice pitch is not random. It rises or falls depending on emotions that people may try to hide. The human voice is one of the most revealing instruments because it reacts directly to the nervous system. When tension, excitement, or fear enters the body, the pitch of the voice shifts. Most people ignore this because they are too focused on the content of the words. But if you listen carefully, the pitch gives away what words cannot. Think about a time when someone denied being nervous, yet their voice suddenly went higher than usual. That rise in pitch was not an accident. It was a leak of hidden stress. Or remember when someone spoke with unusual depth in their tone while talking about something serious. That drop in pitch was the weight of emotion pressing through. These changes may last only seconds, but they tell you the truth about what is happening inside the person. If you train yourself to hear these shifts, you will never again take words at surface level. There are common patterns in how pitch changes reveal emotion. When fear or anxiety strikes, the pitch usually rises. This happens because the vocal cords tighten under stress. When sadness or fatigue sets in, the pitch often drops, creating a heavier sound. When excitement or enthusiasm takes over, the pitch can rise and fall more quickly, almost like music. Each shift is a signal. Each signal tells you about the state of the heart and mind behind the words. By listening to the sound as much as the meaning, you unlock a deeper level of understanding. The timing of pitch changes is crucial. If someone begins speaking calmly but their pitch rises right after a sensitive question, that tells you the pressure point. If they start with excitement but their pitch drops suddenly when the subject changes, that tells you where sadness lives. If their pitch wavers while saying they are confident, that tells you doubt is present. Listening to when the pitch changes gives you insight that most people miss. It allows you to connect the emotion with the exact moment of the conversation. This skill becomes powerful in leadership. Imagine addressing your team and asking if they are comfortable with a new deadline. A team member says yes, but their voice jumps slightly higher than usual. That small rise in pitch tells you the truth. They are uneasy. Instead of accepting their answer at face value, you can explore further. You can address the hidden stress before it becomes a problem. Leaders who hear beyond words are the ones who build real trust. They see what is hidden and act with wisdom. In personal relationships, pitch reveals emotions people do not always want to show. When a partner says they are fine but their voice climbs, you know something is unsettled. When a friend says they are happy for you but their tone drops heavily, you know envy or sadness is present. When a child says nothing is wrong but their pitch trembles, you know fear is there. By noticing these signals, you can respond with care. You can open doors to honesty instead of ignoring what the voice already revealed. Negotiations and business conversations are also full of voice clues. If someone says they agree but their pitch rises sharply on the key word, they are not convinced. If they reject an offer but their pitch softens, they may still be open to compromise. If they insist firmly with a steady and low tone, they are more certain. Listening with this level of awareness allows you to shape your approach based on real emotions rather than spoken words. It gives you an edge in every deal because you hear what others miss. It is also valuable to notice pitch shifts in group settings. When a speaker presents an idea, listen for the moments where their voice naturally rises. Those are the moments they feel pressure or excitement. When their pitch drops, those are the moments of weight and seriousness. The group may not notice consciously, but they feel it subconsciously. This is why skilled speakers control their pitch to influence emotion. But even when people are not trained speakers, their natural pitch still reveals their true feelings. Self-awareness plays a big role here as well. You may notice how your own voice changes in different situations. Under stress, your pitch may rise without you noticing. When confident, your pitch may settle lower and steadier. By becoming aware of your own voice, you gain more control over how you are perceived. You can practice calming your pitch in stressful moments. You can use tone deliberately to build trust. Mastering your own pitch makes you more effective in every conversation. The beauty of this skill is that it can be practiced anytime. The next time you listen to someone, shift your focus from only the words to the tone. Notice if the pitch is steady or if it changes at certain points. Notice if it rises with nervousness, falls with sadness, or fluctuates with excitement. Keep track of the timing. Over time, you will begin to recognize patterns instantly. You will hear what most people never hear. That awareness will change the way you connect with people forever. Confidence grows when you master this awareness. You no longer need to wonder if someone is hiding stress or doubt. You can hear it. You no longer need to be confused by polite words that do not match reality. You can sense the emotion in the sound. This clarity makes you calm and assured in conversations. You respond not only to the message, but to the truth behind it. That kind of presence makes you powerful. People feel understood because you are tuned in to their real emotions. Imagine your next conversation. You ask a question and listen closely. The other person says yes, but their voice shifts higher on that word. You know they are nervous. You adjust with care. Later they tell you a story and their pitch drops as they reach a certain part. You know that is where the pain lies. You respond with empathy. In that moment, you are no longer blind to what is unspoken. You are connected to the deeper truth. That is how you gain influence, build trust, and understand people at the highest level. It all begins with listening for voice pitch changes that reveal inner emotions. Number 7. Read head tilts to gauge interest or curiosity. Every person has been in conversations where it is hard to know if the other person is truly paying attention. Words can be spoken, smiles can be given, and yet you may still wonder if the interest is real. One of the most reliable signals of genuine curiosity or engagement is the tilt of the head. It seems simple, but it reveals more than people realize. The head tilt is a subtle gesture that shows a person is opening themselves to the moment. It often happens without conscious thought. When you learn to see it, you begin to recognize who is truly listening and who is only pretending. Think about when a child hears a new story. They often tilt their head slightly, showing their mind is curious and open. Adults do the same, though it may be less obvious. When someone tilts their head as you speak, they are signaling that they want to hear more. It is their body's way of saying they are engaged. On the other hand, when the head remains rigid or turned slightly away, it can signal disinterest, distance, or resistance. This simple gesture allows you to know where you stand in the conversation. There are different types of head tilts, and each carries its own meaning. A gentle tilt to one side often shows openness and curiosity. A tilt combined with a smile shows warmth and connection. A tilt with furrowed brows may show confusion or questioning. A sharp tilt backward with crossed arms may reveal skepticism or doubt. These variations are small, but they tell a story. They show you exactly how your words are landing. By noticing them, you can adjust how you speak to build stronger connections. The timing of the head tilt matters as well. If someone tilts their head right when you introduce a new idea, it shows curiosity and interest in that subject. If the tilt happens after a personal story, it shows empathy and connection. If the head tilts back slightly after a bold statement, it often signals surprise or hesitation. By watching the timing, you can see which parts of the conversation are creating curiosity and which are creating resistance. This awareness gives you power in communication. Leadership becomes stronger when you notice these signals. When speaking to a group, you can tell who is truly engaged by their head movements. Those who tilt forward or to the side are listening with curiosity. Those who stay stiff and rigid may be holding back. By noticing this, you can adjust your message to draw in the hesitant and strengthen the connection with the engaged. This makes your leadership more effective because you are responding to real-time feedback rather than relying only on words. In relationships, the head tilt is an important sign of empathy. When you share something personal and the other person tilts their head with soft eyes, it often means they are connecting with you emotionally. They are not only hearing your words, but feeling your experience. This is how you know someone is truly present. On the other hand, if someone keeps their head straight or slightly turned away during deep talks, you may sense a lack of connection. By noticing this, you understand the emotional state of the relationship without needing it to be said. In negotiations or professional settings, head tilts can reveal how your message is being received. If you present an idea and someone tilts their head forward slightly, it often means they are intrigued. If they tilt back with narrowed eyes, it often signals doubt. These signals help you adjust your strategy in real time. You know when to press forward and when to explain further. This is the kind of awareness that separates skilled communicators from average ones. Self-awareness is also important. You may notice how often you tilt your own head when you are genuinely interested. This helps you understand how you come across to others. If you want to show engagement, you can use small head tilts naturally to signal curiosity. This makes the other person feel heard and valued. People respond positively to these signals because they show attentiveness without words. By mastering this in yourself, you improve the quality of every interaction. It is also important to combine the head tilt with other cues. A head tilt with open eyes and relaxed shoulders usually shows real interest. A head tilt with crossed arms and tight lips may signal skepticism. A head tilt with raised brows can signal surprise or doubt. By reading the whole body, you gain a clearer picture. The head tilt alone is powerful, but when combined with other signals, it tells you exactly what the person is experiencing inside. Practice makes this skill stronger. The next time you talk with someone, pay attention to when their head moves. Watch how it changes when the subject shifts. Notice whether the tilt comes with a smile, a frown, or stillness. Keep track of the timing. With repetition, you will start to notice these signals instantly. You will see the moments when curiosity sparks and the moments when doubt arises. This awareness allows you to guide conversations with greater impact. The benefit of mastering this skill is confidence. You no longer need to wonder if people are truly listening. You can see it in their head movements. This gives you clarity in conversations. It allows you to focus on the people who are engaged and adapt to those who are not. That clarity makes you more effective in every setting because you are no longer blind to hidden signals. You are seeing the truth in real time. Imagine your next conversation. You are sharing an idea. The other person tilts their head slightly, with soft eyes. You know they are curious. You continue with confidence. Later they tilt back with a frown. You know they are hesitant. You pause to explain further. In that moment, You are guiding the conversation with wisdom. Because you are reading the signals. This is how you gain influence without force. This is how you connect deeply with people. It all begins with reading head tilts to gauge interest or curiosity. Number 9. Track breathing patterns to sense stress or relaxation. Everyone knows what it feels like to sit in a conversation while trying to keep calm on the outside, even though the inside feels unsettled. The face may hold a smile and the voice may sound steady, but the body always reveals the truth through the rhythm of breathing. Breathing is one of the most powerful signals because it is tied directly to emotions and cannot be easily faked for long. When a person feels stress, the breath becomes shallow and quick. When a person feels relaxed, the breath slows and deepens. By watching and listening to breathing patterns, you can gain insights into someone's emotional state that no words will ever tell you. Think about the last time you were nervous before speaking in front of others. Your chest probably rose and fell faster than usual. You may have taken shallow breaths from the top of your lungs instead of full breaths from the diaphragm. That shift in breathing is the body's automatic response to stress. The same happens when people are questioned, challenged, or placed in uncomfortable situations. Even if they hide it in their expressions, the breath gives them away. If you pay attention, you will notice these changes in those around you during daily conversations. The rhythm of breathing can change in different ways depending on the emotion. Rapid, shallow breaths often signal anxiety or fear. Long drawn-out sighs may signal frustration or fatigue. Holding the breath or pausing for several seconds can signal shock, hesitation, or inner conflict. Slow and steady breathing signals calm confidence and openness. Each pattern carries meaning. The key is to match the breathing pattern with the context of the conversation. That is how you know whether the emotion behind it is stress, relief, or composure. You can often notice breathing by watching the shoulders, chest, or even the nostrils. In moments of tension, the shoulders rise more frequently as the chest expands with shallow breaths. In moments of calm, the movement is slower and deeper. You can also hear breathing when the room is quiet. Sometimes people exhale loudly without realizing it when they feel pressure lifting. That sigh is a release of emotional weight. By staying alert, you can capture these subtle signals in real time. This awareness helps in leadership. When you present a new idea to your team and notice fast, shallow breathing from one member, you know they are anxious about it even if they nod in agreement. Instead of ignoring it, you can create space to address their concern. That simple act builds trust, because it shows you see beyond polite words. A leader who reads breathing patterns knows when people are overwhelmed, when they are calm, and when they are trying to hide pressure. That awareness prevents burnout and builds loyalty. In personal relationships, breathing reveals truth in moments of vulnerability. If your partner says they are fine but takes quick, shallow breaths, you know their body does not match their words. If they sigh heavily after a discussion, you know there is tension being carried. If their breathing slows as you talk, you know they are becoming calmer and more open. This awareness allows you to respond with empathy. You can slow your own breathing to help calm them. You can address what is hidden rather than pretending it does not exist. That is how deeper connection is built. In professional settings like negotiations, breathing becomes a powerful clue. If the other side hears a number and their breath quickens, you know it triggered stress. If they hold their breath after hearing a term, you know they are processing discomfort. If they sigh after a statement, you know they feel relief. These cues allow you to adjust your strategy. You can decide when to press forward and when to pause. This gives you an edge, because you are responding to emotions that are unspoken but very real. One fascinating aspect is how breathing patterns change instantly when a sensitive topic appears. A person may breathe normally, then suddenly pause or inhale sharply when a certain subject is raised. That moment tells you the topic has struck a chord. You do not need them to admit it. The breath already revealed the truth. By linking breathing changes to topics, you gain a map of what matters most to the person. That map is more valuable than anything they may choose to say. It is also important to consider baseline breathing. Some people naturally breathe faster or slower than others. To read correctly, you must notice their normal pattern first. Then you look for shifts away from that baseline. The sudden change is what reveals emotion. Without context, you may misinterpret. With context, you can read with accuracy. This skill requires patience, but once you practice it enough, it becomes second nature. Self-awareness is vital here as well. When you pay attention to others' breathing, you will notice your own. You may realize how your breath speeds up when nervous, or how it slows when calm. By managing your own breathing, you gain control over your presence. Slow, deep breaths make you appear confident and steady. Shallow, quick breaths make you appear nervous. By mastering your own breath, you influence how others perceive you and also calm your own mind. This creates balance and strength in every interaction. The practice of observing breathing can be done in everyday life. The next time you sit with someone, notice their chest and shoulders as they talk. Do they rise quickly or slowly? Do they sigh at certain points? Do they pause their breath when answering a tough question? Keep track of the timing. These observations will soon become part of your natural awareness. With repetition, you will begin to read breathing patterns instantly without effort. Confidence grows when you have this awareness. You no longer feel unsure about whether someone is calm or stressed. You can see it in their breath. You no longer need to wonder if someone is hiding pressure. You can hear it in the rhythm of their exhale. This clarity allows you to act wisely. You can comfort when needed, challenge when possible, and protect yourself from false impressions. This is what makes you powerful in human connection. Imagine your next conversation. You ask a sensitive question. The person answers calmly, but you see their chest rise faster than before. You know they are stressed. You adjust with patience. Later they sigh deeply after a difficult topic. You know a burden has been touched. You respond with empathy. In that moment, you are reading what most people never notice. You are seeing beyond the mask into the truth of emotion. That is the gift of watching breathing patterns. It gives you understanding, presence, and influence in every interaction. Number 10. Watch hand gestures to spot hidden excitement or fear. Every person has been in a conversation where the words seemed normal, but the hands told a different story. The truth is that hands often reveal what the mouth is trying to hide. When people feel excited, nervous, or afraid, their hands move in ways that betray the emotion. Some gestures are bold and obvious, while others are quick and subtle. If you train yourself to pay attention, you will begin to see patterns that most people never notice. Hands are powerful indicators of inner states because they are tied directly to energy and emotions that cannot always be contained. Think about a time when someone was explaining an idea with passion. Their hands likely moved rapidly, painting pictures in the air as they spoke. That movement was not rehearsed. It was their body releasing excitement. Now imagine someone being questioned about a mistake. Their hands may fidget, rub together, or grip objects nearby. That movement was not a choice either. It was the nervous system releasing fear. Words can be controlled, but hand gestures often escape control. They are windows into the real emotional state. There are many types of hand gestures that signal excitement. Open palms moving outward often show eagerness to share. Quick, animated gestures with rising arms show energy and enthusiasm. Fingers tapping on the table may show restlessness from an overload of ideas. These are all signs that someone feels strongly engaged. On the other hand, nervousness and fear often produce different patterns. Hands may wring together, rub the back of the neck, or grip tightly onto a chair. Fingers may twitch or clench. Each movement reflects the effort to manage stress inside. Timing is the key when reading gestures. If someone speaks calmly but suddenly begins moving their hands faster after a specific topic arises, you know that subject has triggered excitement or anxiety. If they were composed but start rubbing their palms after being asked a direct question, you know the question created pressure. Observing when gestures appear tells you exactly which part of the conversation carries emotional weight. That moment reveals more than the words themselves. Context matters too. Some people are naturally expressive with their hands. For them, frequent movement may simply be habit. But even with expressive people, you can still spot the changes. Their gestures grow sharper when excited and tighter when nervous. The contrast is what matters most. To read correctly, you must know the person's baseline style and then look for shifts. When gestures change with the emotional tone of the subject, that is when you know the truth is breaking through. In leadership, this awareness gives you an advantage. When you present a vision and see team members using open hand gestures as they respond, you know they feel energized. When you see hands fidgeting or folded tightly, you know they are uncertain. This helps you guide the conversation with precision. You can fuel the excitement where it is present and ease the tension where fear is hiding. Leaders who pay attention to hands see the reality that others overlook, and that awareness builds trust and influence. In relationships, hand gestures can reveal feelings that words cover. A partner may say they are calm, but if their hands are gripping the edge of the table, you know tension is present. They may say they are happy, but if their hands ring nervously, you know something deeper is troubling them. On the positive side, when someone's hands move freely and openly as they speak with you, it often means they feel safe and connected. These are the signals that allow you to build deeper understanding and intimacy without relying solely on spoken language. Negotiations are full of hand clues as well. When someone lays their hands flat on the table, they are often signaling confidence or firmness. When they hide their hands under the table or in their pockets, it may show uncertainty or lack of openness. When hands fidget with a pen or shuffle papers during key terms, it signals anxiety about the offer. By noticing these signals, you can shape your approach with greater wisdom. You know when to press, when to pause, and when to reassure. Another layer of hand gestures is how they interact with space. Expansive gestures that take up more room often show confidence and enthusiasm. Contracted gestures, where hands pull close to the body, often show insecurity or fear. When someone feels excited, their hands naturally expand outward as if sharing energy. When they feel anxious, their hands shrink inward as if protecting themselves. Watching this shift tells you where the person stands emotionally in the moment. Self-awareness plays a big role here too. When you study others, you will notice your own hands more. You may realize how often you fidget when nervous or gesture widely when passionate. By learning to control your own gestures, you gain presence. If you want to appear calm, you can slow your hands and keep them steady. If you want to inspire, you can open your palms and gesture outward. Mastery of your hands gives you control over how others perceive your emotions. This skill requires practice, but it can be built in daily life. The next time you sit in a meeting, shift your attention to the hands of those speaking. Notice when movements increase and when they stop. Notice if gestures are open or closed, steady or restless. Keep track of the timing with the subject. Soon you will begin to see patterns instantly. You will recognize excitement before words confirm it. You will see nervousness even when faces hide it. This awareness will change the way you experience every conversation. Number 11. Study eye contact duration to measure confidence levels. Every person has been in a situation where they wondered if someone was truly confident or only pretending. You may have heard smooth words, polished sentences, or practiced lines, but deep down you sensed something was missing. One of the clearest ways to measure real confidence is through the duration of eye contact. Eyes carry a power that no other part of the body can match. They reveal strength, fear, honesty, or doubt in a matter of seconds. Eye contact does not lie for long. When you learn to observe how long someone holds your gaze, you unlock insight into their confidence level, self-belief, and emotional state. Think about the last time you spoke with someone who carried natural confidence. They did not stare in a way that felt forced, but they held your gaze steadily and calmly. Their eyes did not dart around the room or drop to the floor. That steady duration of contact made you feel their presence. Now think about someone who claimed to be certain, yet could not hold your eyes for more than a moment. Their words may have sounded bold, but their quick glances betrayed nervousness. This is why eye contact duration is one of the most reliable signs of confidence. The key is not just whether someone makes eye contact, but how long they maintain it comfortably. Short, fleeting glances often reveal insecurity, nervousness, or lack of belief in their words. Extended, steady contact often reveals confidence, openness, and strength, but extremes can also carry meaning. Staring too long without blinking can feel unnatural and may signal aggression or discomfort. The balance between holding and releasing the gaze is what tells you the truth. Confident people know how to sustain eye contact without making it a contest. Context plays an important role. In casual, friendly talks, a natural rhythm of looking at the other person and then glancing away feels comfortable. In moments of persuasion or leadership, holding the gaze a bit longer signals strength and trustworthiness. In tense or fearful moments, breaking eye contact quickly often reveals avoidance. The way someone uses their eyes in each setting gives you a map of their inner confidence. If you connect the duration with the timing of the conversation, you know exactly when their confidence rises or falls. Leadership becomes stronger when you can read this signal. Imagine addressing your team and noticing who can meet your eyes steadily as you explain a plan. Those are the people who feel assured and ready. Others may nod in agreement but drop their eyes quickly. Those are the ones who carry doubt or hesitation. By noticing this, you can guide your leadership more effectively. You can support those who lack confidence and empower those who are strong. That is how you build a team that trusts you, because they know you see the truth in them. In relationships, eye contact reveals emotional safety. When someone feels close and connected, they hold your gaze with warmth. When they feel guilty, insecure, or distant, they often look away quickly. If your partner says they are fine but cannot meet your eyes for more than a second, you know something is unresolved. If they look into your eyes for longer with soft focus, you know they are truly open. This awareness allows you to respond with care. It prevents misunderstandings and creates deeper trust, because you are listening not only to words, but to eyes. Negotiations are full of eye contact signals. When you propose terms and the other side holds your gaze steadily while agreeing, you know they mean it. When they glance away quickly, you know there is hesitation even if they speak positively. When they lock eyes too intensely, it may be an attempt to dominate or mask insecurity. By reading these patterns, you know when to press forward, when to clarify, and when to wait. This gives you an edge that most people overlook. There are also cultural differences in eye contact, but even within those, the duration still carries meaning. Some cultures teach less direct eye contact as respect, but within that range, confident people still hold a steady rhythm, while nervous people break it too fast. The key is to learn the baseline of the culture or person, and then notice deviations. A sudden shortening of eye contact in response to a tough question still signals doubt, no matter where you are in the world. Another layer of reading eye contact duration is how it matches the emotion of the conversation. When someone shares excitement, they often hold your eyes longer to share the energy. When they feel ashamed, they avoid your gaze quickly. When they feel threatened, they may hold too long as a form of defense. The way their eyes match or mismatch the emotion tells you everything. By noticing this, you become skilled at reading not just the words, but the alignment between body and emotion. Self-awareness is important here as well. Many people do not realize how much their own eye contact reveals. You may notice that you look away quickly when nervous or hold too long when trying to prove yourself. By becoming aware, you can adjust. You can train yourself to hold a steady gaze naturally, which makes you appear confident and trustworthy. This control over your eyes becomes one of the strongest tools in your presence. People feel the difference immediately when you master it. Practicing this skill requires patience. Start by observing how long people maintain eye contact in casual conversations. Notice the rhythm of looking and breaking. Then, in more serious talks, watch for changes. Does the eye contact grow shorter during tough questions? Does it grow longer during confident statements? Keep track of the timing. Over time, you will see patterns clearly. You will no longer wonder who is confident and who is not. You will know by the eyes. Number 12. Notice fake smiles by checking eye muscle engagement. Everyone has been in situations where someone smiled at them but something about it felt off. The lips curved, the teeth showed, but the warmth was missing. A smile can be one of the most deceptive expressions because people use it as a mask to hide stress, insecurity, or even dislike. Yet there is a way to see the truth behind the smile, and it lies in the muscles around the eyes. A genuine smile engages not only the mouth, but also the muscles that create small wrinkles near the eyes. When those muscles stay still, the smile is often fake. By learning to look at the eyes, you can separate real joy from polite pretenses. Think about a time when you met someone new who smiled out of obligation. Their lips moved, but their eyes looked flat. You probably felt the difference immediately, even if you could not explain why. Now remember a time when a close friend or family member smiled at you out of genuine happiness. Their whole face lit up, their eyes narrowed slightly, and small lines appeared near the corners. That difference is the key. The first smile was surface level, the second was real. When you understand this, you stop being fooled by empty expressions. The reason eyes matter is because they are harder to control consciously. Most people can force their lips to curve, but they cannot easily fake the muscle movement around the eyes. That movement is tied directly to authentic emotion. When joy is real, the eyes narrow slightly, the cheeks lift, and the corners crinkle. When the smile is forced, the lips move but the eyes remain unchanged. This contrast is often clear once you train yourself to look for it. It is the difference between a mask and authenticity. You will often see fake smiles in professional or social settings where politeness is expected. A customer service worker may smile out of duty, but the eyes stay neutral. A colleague may smile in agreement during a meeting, but the eyes remain distant. These situations are not about dishonesty, but about social norms. Still, by noticing the difference, you can understand when someone is only being polite and when they are truly engaged. That knowledge allows you to act wisely instead of being misled. There are also moments where fake smiles hide deeper emotions. Someone may smile while receiving feedback, but keep their eyes tense, showing resistance. Another may smile during a conversation about success, but keep their eyes flat, showing envy. Another may smile when asked a difficult question, but avoid eye involvement, showing discomfort. In all these cases, the mouth tries to project calm, while the eyes reveal the truth. When you learn to see it, you gain access to what people try to conceal. Leadership benefits greatly from this awareness. A leader who watches for real versus fake smiles knows how the team truly feels. If a team member smiles politely but their eyes stay disengaged, the leader knows there is hidden doubt. Instead of assuming agreement, the leader can dig deeper. This prevents miscommunication and builds stronger trust. Leaders who rely only on words and lip smiles may miss important signals. Leaders who notice the eyes understand reality. Relationships also grow deeper with this skill. A partner may smile to avoid conflict, but their eyes may reveal sadness. A child may smile when asked if they are okay, but their eyes may remain heavy. A friend may smile while saying they are happy for you, but their eyes may show tension. By noticing these differences, you can offer real support. You can see beyond the mask to the heart. This creates stronger bonds because people feel truly seen. In negotiations or business deals, smiles are used often as tactics. A person may smile while disagreeing to keep the atmosphere polite. Another may smile while hiding disapproval. By checking the eyes, you know which smiles are real and which are masks. This allows you to respond with clarity. You avoid being deceived by courtesy. You make decisions based on truth rather than politeness. This is how you gain an advantage in professional settings. Practice makes the difference here. The next time you interact with someone, look not just at the mouth, but at the entire face. Notice whether the eyes narrow slightly and whether small lines appear. Notice if the cheeks lift or if only the lips move. Pay attention to the timing. Genuine smiles often last a bit longer and fade naturally. Fake smiles appear quickly and disappear just as fast. By practicing this awareness, you sharpen your ability to see authenticity. Self-awareness also grows when you study smiles. You may notice how often you smile politely without true feeling. You may realize how your own eyes give away your real state. This awareness gives you control. You can choose when to use polite smiles, but you also learn how to show genuine warmth when it matters. People respond more strongly to authentic smiles because they feel the difference. By mastering your own smile, you influence how others experience you. The more you practice, the sharper your observation becomes. At first, you may only notice obvious fake smiles, but soon you will see the small details. You will notice when someone smiles with their lips but not with their eyes. You will notice when the mouth stretches but the cheeks stay still. You will notice when the smile ends too quickly to be real. Each time you catch it, you gain insight into what the person is truly feeling. Number 13. Spot quick glances toward exits, showing discomfort. Everyone has experienced being in a room where the atmosphere feels heavy, and you can sense that someone wants to leave but will not say it. The words may sound polite, the smile may be present, but the body starts to betray the truth. One of the most telling signs of hidden discomfort is the quick glance toward the nearest exit. People may not even realize they are doing it. The eyes move for only a second, but the meaning is clear. It is a signal of wanting escape, release, or distance from the situation. If you train yourself to notice these brief movements, You will understand who is truly comfortable and who is secretly unsettled. Think about sitting across from someone in a meeting. They nod and agree, but their eyes dart toward the door every few minutes. That is not just casual looking, it is the mind searching for a way out. Or imagine talking with someone at a gathering. They smile politely, but as you speak, their eyes flicker toward the hallway. That small movement tells you the truth. They are not fully present. They are either uneasy with the subject, tired of the interaction, or anxious to leave. The glance reveals what the words conceal. This behavior comes from a natural survival instinct. The human brain is always scanning the environment for exits or escape routes when it feels stress. Even in safe modern settings, this instinct still exists. When someone feels trapped in a conversation or situation, the eyes unconsciously check the way out. It may be the door, a window, or even the path between people. This is why glances toward exits are such reliable signals of discomfort. They are part of a deep human pattern that operates beyond conscious control. The timing of these glances carries meaning. If someone looks toward the exit the moment a certain topic arises, that topic is making them uncomfortable. If they glance at the exit repeatedly during a discussion, they may be feeling overwhelmed. If they glance quickly right before responding to a difficult question, it shows hesitation or desire to escape pressure. By linking the glance with the moment, you know what is causing the discomfort. That knowledge allows you to guide the situation with wisdom. Leaders can use this skill to read the room during group discussions. Imagine presenting an idea and noticing several people glance toward the exit as you explain. That tells you the idea is creating unease. Instead of pushing harder, you can slow down and address concerns. On the other hand, if people stay focused and avoid exit glances, you know they are engaged. Leaders who notice this are far more effective because they are tuned in to hidden emotions that others ignore. In relationships, noticing exit glances can help you see when someone is not fully comfortable. A partner may sit quietly and say everything is fine, but if their eyes keep flicking toward the door, they are unsettled. A friend may agree to a conversation, but if their gaze shifts toward the hallway repeatedly, they are ready to end it. These signals help you avoid misreading politeness as real comfort. You can adjust by asking with care or giving them space. This prevents tension from growing unspoken. In negotiations or interviews, exit glances are extremely telling. If the other party keeps checking the door, they may feel trapped or pressured. That means they are not fully ready to commit. If you push harder, you risk breaking the deal, but if you recognize the discomfort and ease the tension, you create trust. The person feels understood without having to admit their unease. That small awareness gives you an advantage because you respond to reality, not appearances. Another detail to watch for is the speed and frequency of the glance. A single slow glance at the door may be harmless, but repeated quick flickers often signal deeper discomfort. The faster and more frequent the glances, the stronger the desire to escape. This is where precision comes in. You do not judge based on one movement. You watch for patterns. When the pattern is clear, the message is undeniable. The person is unsettled and wants out. It is important not to confront someone harshly about their exit glances. If you call it out, they may feel exposed and embarrassed. Instead, you use the knowledge quietly. You may change the subject, shorten the meeting, or adjust your approach. The goal is not to catch them, but to understand them. When you respond with sensitivity, you build trust. They may not realize you noticed, but they will feel safer with you because you respected their unspoken signals. Self-awareness also grows when you study this behavior. You may realize how often you glance toward exits when you feel uncomfortable. It might happen in meetings, gatherings, or even casual talks. By noticing it in yourself, you learn to manage it better. You can choose to hold presence even when uneasy. That self-control makes you appear more confident. At the same time, you also become more compassionate toward others who show the same signals. You understand their discomfort because you have felt it too. This skill can be practiced easily in everyday life. The next time you are in a room with several people, casually observe where their eyes move. Notice who glances toward the exit, often, and who keeps steady focus on the conversation. Notice when the glances happen. Keep track of patterns. Over time, you will see how much these small movements reveal. You will know who is engaged, who is restless, and who is uneasy long before they say anything. Number 14. Observe mirroring behavior to identify hidden rapport. Everyone has felt the difference between a conversation that flows easily and one that feels stiff. In the first case, both people feel connected and time passes quickly. In the second, the talk feels forced and every word takes effort. One of the clearest signs that a real connection is happening is mirroring. Mirroring is when two people unconsciously copy each other's movements, posture, or tone. It is not planned, and most of the time people do not realize they are doing it. The body reflects the other person as a way of saying, "I feel comfortable with you." If you train yourself to notice mirroring, you can tell who feels hidden rapport and who does not, even when words give you no clue. Think about a moment when you were with a close friend. You crossed your legs, and a few seconds later, they did the same. You leaned forward, and soon they mirrored your posture. Neither of you planned it. It happened naturally because you felt safe with each other. Now compare that to a tense business meeting where everyone sat stiffly in different positions. No mirroring took place because no rapport existed. These differences may seem small, but they reveal the true state of the relationship in real time. Mirroring shows up in many forms. It may be posture, such as leaning forward when the other person leans forward. It may be gestures, such as taking a sip of water shortly after the other person does. It may be tone, such as speaking in a softer voice after hearing the other person speak gently. These behaviors reveal an unconscious desire to align. People who feel connection mirror naturally. People who feel distance do not. By noticing these details, you can identify real rapport without needing anyone to say it directly. The timing of mirroring is important. If it happens quickly and smoothly, it shows strong connection. If it happens only after a delay, it may be forced or polite. For example, when two people are truly in sync, their movements seem to flow together. When one crosses their arms, the other soon does without thinking. When one laughs, the other laughs in the same rhythm. On the other hand, if someone mirrors too obviously or at odd times, it may be intentional rather than natural. Real mirroring feels seamless. This skill is powerful in leadership. A leader who sees mirroring knows who is truly engaged. If the team mirrors the leader's tone and posture, they feel trust. If the leader leans forward to inspire energy and the group follows, connection is strong. If the leader moves with confidence but the group remains stiff and unresponsive, rapport is missing. By noticing mirroring, leaders can measure loyalty and trust without needing formal feedback. It becomes a tool to gauge the real mood of the room. In relationships, mirroring reveals depth of connection. If your partner naturally mirrors your gestures, it shows they feel safe and aligned with you. If they sit stiffly while you relax or avoid matching your rhythm, it shows distance. This is not about judgment, but about awareness. By noticing mirroring, you can sense when closeness is growing and when it is fading. You can use that knowledge to nurture the bond. You may adjust your approach to build more safety and trust. Negotiations also reveal mirroring clearly. When both sides start to mirror each other, it often means trust is being built. Their postures align, their tones become similar, and their gestures match. This is a signal that agreement is near. On the other hand, if one side mirrors and the other resists, rapport is missing. By watching for this, you can know when to push forward and when to ease back. This gives you an advantage because you can measure trust without asking. Mirroring can also be used deliberately, but carefully. If you mirror someone subtly, it can create comfort because it signals alignment. For example, if you lean forward slightly after they do, they may feel more understood. But this must be gentle and natural. If you exaggerate or copy too directly, it feels fake. People sense when mirroring is forced. The power of mirroring lies in subtlety. A small reflection builds comfort without drawing attention. Self-awareness is just as important here. You may notice how often you mirror others when you feel comfortable. You may also notice how you resist mirroring when you feel distant. This awareness helps you understand yourself and others. It also gives you the ability to use your own body language with intention. By choosing openness and calm, you invite others to mirror you. That creates a cycle of connection. You become the one who sets the tone for rapport. Practice this in everyday life. The next time you are with friends, notice if your gestures match theirs. When you laugh, do they laugh in the same rhythm? When you shift your posture, do they follow? Then, in more formal settings, watch for alignment between people. See who mirrors and who does not. Over time, you will see patterns everywhere. You will know instantly who feels rapport and who feels distant. This awareness will sharpen your social intelligence. Number 15. Detect delayed responses, hinting at concealed thoughts. Everyone knows the feeling of asking someone a question and waiting just a little too long for the answer. The silence may last only 2 or 3 seconds, but it feels heavier than the words that follow. That pause is not empty. It carries meaning. A delayed response is often a sign that the person is filtering, hiding, or reshaping what they really want to say. The mind scrambles to form the right answer, while the truth lingers in the background. If you learn to notice these delays and connect them to the context, you will discover what people are trying not to reveal. Think about being in a job interview. You ask the candidate if they have ever missed a deadline. Instead of answering right away, they pause, glance away, and then give a carefully crafted response. That pause tells you more than the answer itself. It shows the struggle between honesty and image. Or imagine asking a friend if they are upset about something. They hesitate, take a breath, and then say no. That hesitation reveals the concealed thought. They may not be ready to admit it, but the delay tells you the truth. The timing of responses is one of the most overlooked signals in human interaction. People often focus only on the words, but the gap before the words is where the hidden feelings live. A quick, natural response usually comes from honesty or comfort. A delayed response often comes from calculation or suppression. The longer the pause, the more likely the person is adjusting the truth. It does not always mean lying, but it does mean there is more beneath the surface than what is spoken. There are different types of delays. A short pause with eye movement often signals quick filtering of thoughts. A longer pause with a sigh may signal hesitation, discomfort, or inner conflict. A pause followed by repetition of the question may signal buying time. Each version points to a struggle between what is felt and what is said. By watching carefully, you can separate natural pauses for thought from unnatural delays caused by concealment. This skill is useful in leadership. Imagine addressing your team and asking if they understand a new plan. Everyone nods, but one member delays before answering. That delay tells you they are not fully sure or comfortable. Instead of assuming agreement, you can ask follow-up questions. By noticing delays, you prevent problems before they grow. Leaders who pay attention to timing know when words are true and when they are polished. This gives them an advantage in guiding their teams with clarity. In relationships, delayed responses can reveal unspoken feelings. When you ask your partner if something is wrong and they pause before saying everything is fine, you know the truth lies in the pause. When a friend hesitates before congratulating you, you know envy or sadness may be hidden. When a family member delays answering a personal question, you know the topic touched something deeper. These delays give you insight into emotions that may never be admitted openly. By responding with care instead of pushing, you create space for honesty to surface later. Negotiations often involve delays that reveal concealed thoughts. If the other side hesitates before agreeing to a term, you know they are uncertain. If they pause before rejecting, you know they may still be open. If they delay before countering, they are likely calculating strategy. By noticing these pauses, you can adjust your approach. You know when to push, when to wait, and when to reassure. Timing tells you what words do not. It is important to separate delays caused by thoughtfulness from those caused by concealment. Some questions genuinely require time to answer. People may pause because they want to give a complete response. The key is to connect the pause with the context. If the question was simple and personal but the pause was long, it signals concealment. If the question was complex and detailed, the pause may simply mean careful thought. Precision comes from matching the pause to the situation. Self-awareness is also valuable here. You may notice how often you delay before answering, when you feel nervous or when you want to protect yourself. You may recognize that your own pauses reveal more than your words. By noticing this, you gain control. You can choose to answer directly when honesty is best, or manage your pauses when you do not want to reveal too much. This awareness strengthens your communication because you understand both sides of the signal. Practice helps sharpen this skill. The next time you talk with someone, focus not only on what they say, but on how long it takes them to say it. Notice when responses are immediate and when they are delayed. Notice what topics trigger hesitation. Keep track of patterns. Over time, you will learn to hear the silence as clearly as the words. You will see that hesitation often speaks louder than speech. Number 16. Watch shoulders tightening as a sign of tension. Everyone knows what it feels like to walk into a room and sense that someone is on edge. Their words might sound calm, their face might even carry a smile, but their body betrays what is going on inside. One of the clearest signals of hidden tension is in the shoulders. Shoulders tighten and rise when the body feels stress. It is not something people plan. It is an automatic reaction of the nervous system. When people feel defensive, pressured, or anxious, their shoulders move upward and stiffen, even when they try to appear relaxed. If you learn to watch this area of the body, you will begin to see stress long before anyone admits it. Think about how your own body reacts in moments of nervousness. Before an important meeting or a difficult conversation, your shoulders may creep upward toward your neck without you noticing. You might even feel tightness there later in the day. That same response happens to others, and it is visible if you know what to look for. The tightening can be subtle, but once you train your eyes, it becomes obvious. A relaxed person's shoulders sit lower and move freely. A tense person's shoulders stay rigid and higher than normal. Timing plays a big role in understanding this cue. When you are talking with someone and mention a sensitive subject, watch their shoulders. If they lift slightly at the moment the topic comes up, that is a sign the subject is making them tense. If the shoulders stay tight throughout the conversation, The person may be carrying ongoing stress. If the shoulders suddenly drop after a resolution, it shows release of tension. The shoulders tell the story in real time, and the story is often more accurate than words. There are different levels of shoulder tightening. Sometimes it is small, with just a slight lift. Other times it is extreme, with the shoulders nearly touching the ears. Each level shows the degree of tension. People under light stress may show only a brief lift. People under heavy stress may hold their shoulders high and stiff for long periods. By observing the degree of change, you can sense how deeply the tension runs. This detail helps you measure not just whether stress exists, but how strong it is. In leadership, this skill is invaluable. Imagine addressing your team about a new project. Everyone agrees, but one person's shoulders lift the moment you mention deadlines. That small signal tells you where pressure exists. Instead of assuming everything is fine, you can address the issue before it grows. Leaders who watch shoulders understand what their people carry beneath the surface. They guide with empathy, not guesswork. This makes them more effective and more trusted. In relationships, the shoulders also reveal hidden emotions. Your partner may say they are not upset, but their shoulders tighten as they speak. That signal tells you there is more to the story. A friend may insist they are relaxed, but their shoulders rise when a certain name is mentioned. That rise speaks louder than words. By noticing this, you can respond with care. You can ask better questions or give space, depending on what is needed. This prevents conflict because you respond to truth, not just to words. Negotiations show shoulder tension clearly. If someone hears a number or a demand they dislike, their shoulders often tighten before their face reacts. If they feel pressured, their body stiffens while their words remain polite. This gives you an advantage. You know when to adjust your approach and when to pause. You know what points create stress. Without this awareness, you might miss the signs and push too hard. With it, you can navigate more wisely. Shoulder tightening often comes with other signals. Tight shoulders with a stiff jaw show strong resistance. Tight shoulders with crossed arms show defense. Tight shoulders with quick breathing show anxiety. By combining these cues, you get a complete picture. You see not just that tension exists, but what kind of tension it is. This is how you become precise in reading people. You do not rely on one sign alone. You connect multiple signals into a clear understanding. Self-awareness grows when you study shoulders. You may notice how often your own shoulders tighten in stressful moments. You may see how they rise without your permission. This awareness gives you power. You can learn to drop your shoulders deliberately to calm yourself. You can use relaxed shoulders to project confidence even when nervous. By managing your own signals, you influence how others experience you. People respond differently to someone whose body is open and relaxed. The more you practice, the sharper your eye becomes. At first, you may notice shoulder tightening only in obvious situations, but soon you will see smaller shifts. You will notice when someone lifts their shoulders slightly during a casual conversation. You will notice when they hold stiffness longer than normal. You will notice when their shoulders release after a tough moment. These details give you insight that others miss. They make you someone who understands emotions in real time. Number 17. Notice fidgeting fingers, indicating suppressed nervousness. Everyone has been in a moment where their mind was restless, but they tried to keep their body calm. You sit in a chair during a meeting, or you stand in a group, and though you want to appear collected, your fingers begin to move on their own. They tap the table, twist a pen, rub against each other, or pick at something nearby. This is fidgeting, and it often appears when someone is holding back nervousness or pressure. Most people think they are hiding their feelings, but their hands are speaking loudly. If you learn to notice this subtle sign, you will see the suppressed emotions that people try to cover. Think about being questioned about something important. Your face may remain serious, your words may come out steady, but your fingers betray you by moving constantly. This same behavior happens in others. Watch someone sitting in an interview, waiting to answer a difficult question. Their fingers may drum lightly against the chair. Watch a student before an exam. Their hands may twist together as if trying to squeeze out the tension. These actions are not random. They are physical outlets for suppressed energy. Fidgeting fingers come in many forms. Some people tap their fingertips on a surface. Some roll objects like pens or keys. Others rub their thumbs against their palms. Some may crack their knuckles repeatedly. Each of these movements is the body's way of releasing what the person will not admit. The nervous system creates small motions to let out the inner tension. Once you start looking at hands, you will see these signs in almost every stressful situation. Timing again carries meaning. If someone fidgets with their fingers right after a difficult question, the link is clear. If they were calm but begin tapping as a subject grows personal, that is the trigger. If their fidgeting stops when the subject changes, you know the discomfort passed. These shifts tell you what is important to the person. They tell you what topics carry weight and which ones do not. Words may sound smooth, but the fingers reveal the truth moment by moment. This awareness is powerful in leadership. A leader who notices fingers tapping or twisting during meetings knows who is uneasy. Instead of assuming everyone is confident, they see the hidden stress. They can pause, ask questions, and clear the tension. This builds trust because people feel understood without exposing themselves. Leaders who pay attention to hands prevent problems early, while those who ignore them may miss the signs of doubt or pressure building inside the team. In relationships, fidgeting fingers reveal suppressed emotions that words will not. A partner may say they are not upset, but if their fingers keep twisting, you know something is hidden. A friend may insist they are fine, but if their hands pick at the edge of the table, you know they are uneasy. These small movements tell you to listen deeper. They tell you to approach with care instead of accepting the mask. This kind of awareness creates safety because people feel you see the truth they are not ready to speak. Negotiations also show this sign clearly. If the other side plays with a pen while hearing your proposal, they are unsettled. If they rub their hands together quickly, they may be anxious about the terms. If they crack their knuckles before answering, they are releasing pressure. These cues give you insight that words hide. You can adjust your approach based on what their fingers reveal. You can push when you see confidence or ease back when you see stress. That is how you use hidden signs to your advantage. It is also helpful to combine finger fidgeting with other signals. Fidgeting with tense shoulders shows strong anxiety. Fidgeting with quick breathing shows pressure. Fidgeting with eyes darting away shows desire to escape. Each combination gives you a sharper picture of the inner state. Fidgeting alone is meaningful, but with other signals it becomes undeniable. You see not just nervousness, but the exact kind of nervousness. Self-awareness matters here too. You may notice your own fingers move in stressful situations. You may tap on a table without realizing it, or roll a pen repeatedly. These actions reveal your state to others, even when you want to appear calm. By noticing this in yourself, you gain control. You can choose to still your hands when you want to project confidence. You can also use awareness of your hands to calm yourself. Resting your fingers on your lap and breathing slowly can bring relaxation. This skill improves with practice. Start by watching people's hands in everyday life. Notice what they do when waiting, when listening, or when answering questions. Look for tapping, twisting, rubbing, or picking. Pay attention to when the movements begin and end. Over time, you will see that hands rarely stay still during stress. You will learn to read nervousness even when the face and voice appear calm. Number 18. Study walking speed changes to reveal mood shifts. Everyone has seen a person walk into a room and immediately felt something about their state of mind. The way people move is one of the clearest reflections of their inner world. Walking speed, in particular, tells more than most realize. A quickened pace often shows urgency, anxiety, or excitement. A slower pace can reveal sadness, fatigue, or hesitation. These shifts are not random. They are signals from the nervous system that express what words may never say. By paying attention to how someone walks and noticing when their speed changes, you can detect mood shifts that they may try to hide. Think about how your own walking changes depending on your emotions. When you are excited, your steps become faster and lighter. When you are upset, your pace slows and your feet feel heavier. When you are nervous, your steps may be quick but uneven. These differences happen without conscious effort. The body adjusts to the mind. Others around you can read it if they are observant. The same is true for everyone you encounter. Walking speed is a constant signal that few people watch closely. One important clue is sudden change. If someone is walking at a steady pace but speeds up after hearing certain news, that acceleration reveals their emotional reaction. If someone slows down after a difficult conversation, it signals that their mood has dropped. If their steps shift from quick to dragging, it shows fatigue or discouragement. By linking the change in walking speed to the context, you know what triggered the shift. The timing is everything. There are also patterns that reveal personality and mood. People with steady confidence often walk with consistent speed and rhythm. People who are anxious may walk quickly, but with a restless, uneven pace. People who are sad often slow down, their steps losing energy. People who are excited may walk fast with a spring in their movement. Each style of walking shows an inner state. The trick is to notice when that style changes. That is when emotions shift. This awareness is valuable in leadership. Imagine walking with your team after a meeting. If you notice someone's pace slowing while others move quickly, you know they are carrying doubt or concern. Instead of ignoring it, you can check in with them. That simple act builds trust, because you noticed what others overlooked. Leaders who watch walking speed can sense morale, stress, and engagement without asking directly. They act with insight instead of assumptions. In relationships, walking speed reveals hidden feelings. A partner may say they are fine, but if they walk slower than usual, you know something is weighing on them. A friend may say they are relaxed, but if they rush ahead, you know restlessness is present. These signals give you the chance to respond with empathy. You can adjust your own pace to match theirs. You can show presence without demanding words. That alignment creates safety and deeper connection. Negotiations and professional interactions also reveal mood through walking. If the other side enters the room briskly, they may feel strong and confident. If they enter slowly and drag their feet, they may feel less certain. If they leave the room faster than they arrived, it may mean tension or frustration. By noticing these details, you know more about their mindset than they may ever admit. This gives you an advantage because you read the truth through movement. It is important to consider the environment. Walking speed can be affected by space, crowd, or physical condition, but within those boundaries, emotional changes still show. If someone always walks quickly but suddenly slows down in a private moment, that shift is meaningful. If someone usually walks slowly but suddenly speeds up during a conversation, that reveals urgency. The key is to notice the individual's normal pace, and then look for deviations. That is where the emotional message lies. Self-awareness grows when you study walking speed. You may realize how often your own steps change without you noticing. You may see that you speed up when anxious or slow down when discouraged. By becoming aware, you gain control. You can choose to walk with steady rhythm to project confidence. You can use your pace to calm yourself. You can also adjust your speed to match others, creating instant rapport. Mastering your own pace is as powerful as reading others. Practice is simple. The next time you are in a public place, watch how people walk. Notice who is moving quickly and who is moving slowly. Notice when their pace changes and consider what might have caused it. Then, in personal interactions, watch the pace of those you know. Compare it to their normal behavior. Over time, you will learn to detect mood shifts instantly. Walking speed will no longer be invisible to you. It will be a clear message of emotional state. Number 19. Look for eyebrow raises, showing surprise or disbelief. Everyone has experienced a moment when someone's words sounded smooth, but their face told another story. Out of all facial signals, the eyebrows are among the most revealing. They move quickly and often without control, sending instant messages about what the mind is feeling. When eyebrows rise suddenly, it is almost always a sign of surprise, shock, or disbelief. The movement is so fast that many people miss it. But if you train your eyes to notice it, you can read emotions in real time. Eyebrows reveal what words try to hide, because they react before the brain has time to filter. Think about when you hear unexpected news. Before you even form words, your eyebrows lift as your eyes widen. That instant reaction is hard to stop. The same happens when someone hears something they do not fully believe. Their eyebrows shoot upward for a second, even if their voice stays calm. These movements are part of human nature. They developed as survival signals long before language existed. Surprise or disbelief needed to be expressed quickly, and the eyebrows became one of the clearest tools for that purpose. There are different types of eyebrow raises, and each carries a slightly different meaning. A sharp, quick lift shows sudden surprise. A slower raise with a slight head tilt can show curiosity. A raised brow with tightened lips often shows disbelief or doubt. Both eyebrows rising evenly usually signal shock or amazement. One eyebrow raised higher than the other often signals skepticism. These variations may last only a second, but they speak volumes about what a person is truly thinking. Timing matters. If someone's eyebrows rise the moment a certain topic is mentioned, that subject triggered a reaction. If they rise right after a statement, it signals disbelief in what was said. If they rise during a story but settle quickly, it shows genuine surprise. By connecting the eyebrow movement with the exact moment, you know what triggered the emotion. Words may remain polite, but the eyebrows reveal the truth instantly. This awareness is valuable in leadership. Imagine presenting a new idea to your team. Everyone nods, but one person's eyebrows lift sharply when you mention the deadline. That single movement shows where their concern lies. Instead of missing the sign, you can address it. Leaders who notice eyebrow signals guide more effectively. They understand where the team feels doubt or stress without needing it to be said. This awareness prevents small doubts from growing into big problems. In relationships, eyebrow raises can reveal honesty or hidden feelings. If your partner hears your explanation and their eyebrows rise quickly before they say they believe you, that pause tells you they still doubt. If a friend hears your good news and their brows lift with wide eyes, you know their surprise is real. If they raise just one brow, it often signals skepticism or mild disbelief. By paying attention, you know whether people are truly aligned with you or just being polite. Negotiations often involve eyebrow signals too. When you present a number and the other side's eyebrows rise instantly, you know it shocked them. If they raise only one brow, you know they doubt your terms. If their eyebrows remain steady, they are not emotionally shaken. These cues give you an advantage. You can adjust your offer or push forward depending on the reaction. Without this awareness, you risk missing crucial signals that could shape the outcome. Eyebrow movements often combine with other signals. Raised brows with widened eyes show shock. Raised brows with a smile show delight. Raised brows with tight lips show doubt. Raised brows with quick breathing show anxiety. When you connect these signals, you get a complete picture. You know not just that surprise or disbelief exists, but what kind it is. That clarity makes you precise in reading emotions. Self-awareness is important here too. You may notice how often your own eyebrows move when you hear unexpected things. You may realize that your face gives away surprise even when you want to appear calm. This awareness helps you control your signals. In professional settings, you may practice keeping your brows neutral when hearing surprising news. In personal settings, you may let them rise naturally to show empathy. By mastering your own eyebrows, you gain control over how others perceive your reactions. The more you practice, the sharper your eye becomes. At first, you may notice only big eyebrow movements. Over time, you will catch even the smallest flickers. You will see when someone raises their brows for half a second before regaining control. You will notice when one brow lifts slightly higher than the other. These small details make a big difference. They reveal truth that words cannot cover. Confidence grows with this skill. You no longer wonder if someone truly believes what they say. You can see it in their eyebrows. You no longer feel unsure about hidden reactions. You can read them instantly. That confidence makes you calm in every setting. It gives you an edge because you are guided by real emotions rather than appearances. People feel understood when you respond to signals they never realized they were showing. Imagine your next conversation. You share an idea, and the other person's eyebrows rise sharply before they say it. Sounds good. You know their words do not match their feelings. You adjust with care. Later you tell someone surprising news, and their brows lift wide with genuine amazement. You know their reaction is authentic. In those moments, you are not only hearing words, you are reading eyebrows. You are seeing surprise, doubt or disbelief before the voice even speaks. That is the power of noticing eyebrow raises. It gives you access to instant truth, and it helps you connect with people at the deepest level. Number 20. Pay attention to silence, pauses, signaling hidden emotions. Every one of us has lived through a moment where silence felt louder than any words. You ask a question, and the pause stretches. You share something important, and instead of instant response, there is stillness. Most people rush to fill these silences, but in truth, they are not empty. They carry meaning, often more powerful than words themselves. Pauses in conversation reveal hesitation, hidden feelings, or thoughts that someone does not want to share openly. If you learn to pay attention to these moments, you will uncover emotions that no sentence could ever describe. Think about the last time you asked someone if they were okay, and they said yes only after waiting a few seconds. That pause told you more than the yes. It revealed conflict. Or consider when someone received surprising news and fell quiet before speaking. That silence showed they were processing the shock. These gaps between words are windows into the mind. They show where the person struggles, where they hide, and where they hesitate. You only need to resist the urge to rush through them. Pauses, take different forms. A short hesitation before answering a simple question can signal doubt or fear of judgment. A long silence during a story can show that the memory carries pain. A sudden break in the middle of speaking can reveal emotions that overwhelm. Even when people are skilled at controlling facial expressions or tone, they cannot always control time. The length of silence is a truth they cannot disguise. Timing matters here more than anything else. If a pause happens right after a sensitive topic is raised, it shows the weight of that subject. If silence follows a question about feelings, it shows the struggle to decide how much to reveal. If pauses appear repeatedly in the same type of discussion, they show where the deepest conflicts lie. By connecting pauses to context, you learn what matters most to the person, even if they never say it aloud. Leadership requires sharp awareness of silence. When you present a plan to your team and ask if everyone agrees, quick responses may signal surface-level comfort. But if one person pauses before speaking, you know they are not convinced. That pause is your chance to explore concerns before they turn into resistance. Leaders who ignore silence miss the most important feedback. Leaders who respect it gain insight that builds trust and prevents hidden doubts from growing. In relationships, silence is often the loudest language. A partner may pause before saying they are fine, and that hesitation tells you everything. A friend may go quiet in the middle of a conversation about your success, and that pause may reveal unspoken envy or sadness. A family member may fall silent when a painful memory surfaces, and that pause is their way of holding back emotion. By noticing these gaps, you can respond with sensitivity. You can acknowledge the unspoken instead of pretending it is not there. Negotiations are also shaped by silence. When you make an offer and the other party stays quiet longer than expected, that silence may show they are considering carefully. If they rush to fill the pause, it may show nervousness. If they deliberately hold silence, it may be a tactic to make you speak more. By watching for the intention behind silence, you gain an edge. You learn when the silence comes from emotion and when it comes from strategy. That knowledge helps you navigate wisely. Pauses often combine with other signals. Silence with lowered eyes shows discomfort. Silence with tightened shoulders shows tension. Silence with a deep sigh shows fatigue or resignation. Each layer adds clarity. Alone, silence signals hidden emotion. Combined with body cues, it tells you exactly what emotion it is. That is how you become precise. You are not only hearing the absence of words, you are reading the body that fills the space around them. Self-awareness is vital here too. Many of us pause when we are nervous, when we are hiding something, or when we are unsure. By noticing your own silences, you understand yourself better. You may realize that your hesitations reveal more than you intend. This awareness allows you to manage pauses deliberately. You can use silence for reflection, or you can shorten it when you do not want to expose uncertainty. Mastering your own pauses makes you more in control of your communication. The best way to practice is simple: slow down and listen. In your next conversation, notice not just what people say, but how long it takes them to say it. Notice the gaps between sentences. Notice when silence appears and what triggered it. Resist the urge to interrupt. Let the silence unfold. Soon you will hear emotions in the pauses as clearly as in the words. You will learn that silence is not empty, but full of meaning.